Well, this is one way to start off a game. Invade with 5 immediately with the Skarner.
He went Predator though, which makes me very happy. So we're just waiting. Still plenty of time. Dove already making his way back to his lane, and I'm not gonna. They suspect something's up. Don't know if they watched him on the initial approach, but should be fine now, as it will only lead to some vision being put on the bot side of the map. Deft warding over the wall sees that at least they're not in that brush, and with the brush or the vision that was put down by Zeka as well, should be good here. As overall, looking at the rune sets here, Zeka going for a laning-oriented Azir build. Both Ahri and Kingen have been much more popular after the changes we've seen on the current patch. And Azir has been such an incredibly high-profile pick, as
we're doing it already. From minute 1, Kael is going to get in there, and he is able to soak a bunch of damage with 2 ranged against the Nautilus and a low-range Nilah, of course. You can opt for some plays like that, try to get ahead and really push your lead in the lane.
Yeah, and really nicely played around BeryL's hook cooldown as well. Prince actually going in for some extra harass there. And we do see Pyosik is pathing towards the bot side of the map. Croco is Skarner, so we'll be looking to just full clear. But due to that super aggressive level 1, Kael and Prince are actually going to be able to get a very early crash here. And as a result, should be completely fine. I mean, that was definitely not necessary. They are going to stick around here, though, trying to shove in the cannon as well. And there is a definite window here, especially with Croco showing on mid. Would love to see some defensive warding come through.
Yeah, I mean, this is an excellent opportunity right now for Pyosik.
They should know they're vulnerable here.
Gotta go for it. The flash comes in, and then Kael might be in a lot of trouble. He is the sacrifice, and flash used by Prince as well. Kael trying to flash, trying to delay as much time as possible, as now he will go down. First blood to Pyosik, as in goes Croco now, looking for the enemy blue.
Yeah, if Prince and Kael just back off and let the wave come bounce into them, it's fine. If Croco is covering there or doesn't show mid, I think it's fine as well. But that was a crucial overreach from the Liiv SANDBOX bot side. I'm wondering whether there was some shenanigans with the vision. Maybe Pyosik found a creative pathing around some of the wards that were placed on the bot side of the map, because they did know he started bot. As Croco also not going for the invade here. And yeah, this is very straightforward. Like the BeryL flashes to make sure that he actually guarantees the play here. As we do see Prince forced to flash away from the hook. Kael buys a little bit of time, but not much more, unfortunately, for him. And in the end, it is a kill for Pyosik. And the only thing that Croco was able to get is a double scuttle, which is not bad on Skarner, but definitely not a great trade for them.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have Prince. He did go call in this one, as well as Ghost. Used both in that last trade. Oh. Croco already ganking mid. Now he's looking to gank top. Doesn't have any boots, though, in both of these ganks, even though he did go Predator.
Yeah, I think he's mainly looking to make sure that his top side can actually get a crash off here. Without vision of Pyosik, actually going for a player is pretty risky. And yeah, I think you can go, but should just zone Kingen off of the wave.
Yeah.
No cannon here, so a lot of value being gained here for Liiv SANDBOX.
Croco is staying for an incredibly long amount of time, as now Dove looks like they're very confident to take a 2v2 in this case. But now, let's see how it goes. They're trying to fight off of the turret, and as I said, you know, just saying, okay, you want to come at us 2v2, sure. Yeah. Fine by us.
Yeah, it's a huge win. You know, you deny a sensible amount of CS. Good play. Don't really need to get a kill there by any means. Only downside is Croco does delay his next clear a little bit, and ideally something you'd always want to avoid in the Skarner, trying to get to your 6 power spike as soon as possible, but picks up his boots and will be fine. Kind of going back and forth, ends up with the Mercury threads instead. Same for Dove here, a lot of value on this play that still caps into the Jax, of course. And overall, a little bit of movement from SANDBOX, but They are, as per usual, playing for that level 6 spike on the Skarner, and that first impale going to be huge here.
Yeah, he's going to be getting in there real fast as trying to deny a freeze of the wave to allow the Zeri to pick it up. He'll be somewhat successful. Prince denied of 2 melee creeps. Now Kingen pushing in on the top side. He's got that Sheen now, which is going to make his trading power a lot more powerful.
Oh.
Especially, yeah, you like that one?
I do.
I've been saving that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got to step it up for playoffs. You know, you gotta
That's true. You got to bring out all the
creative.
powerful words. Yeah, but it's going to be really nice as now he's even got he's even got level 6 here, so threatening, and he'll just proxy the wave, which will be pretty nice as Dove has taken a bunch of damage, hits level 6 himself finally.
Yeah, really a repeat of the play that was made earlier. Dove doesn't know whether or not Poppy is in the area, so as a result has to drop the wave. Can't really trade due to the size of it. BeryL.
Oh man, Prince read that so nicely.
Yeah. Stayed near the wall as well. Oh, and now Croco. Sneaky, but I don't think this one has a huge chance of success. And key thing here, that unlike in the previous game where I think Vi is one of the best Drake takers that we have right now in the meta together with Viego. Percentage health damage actually very relevant here with the buffs to the health. Skarner kinda sucks when it comes to taking dragons. He's just not very good at it. Needs the rest of his team, so Croco going to instead opt into just keep farming.
Yeah, and I mean, at level 6, especially because outside of that first gank from Pyosik, and even as a whole in the series, he hasn't really gone for extremely aggressive setups with his lanes, you know, trying to set up early ganks and stuff like that, so especially if Pyosik's kind of just hanging out.
Ooh,
as I say that, though,
Dove.
he's looking for this, and it's a good timing.
Yeah, wave is shoving.
That's just a flash, just used just like that. Just because Croco exists on the Skarner, and ooh, that Counter-Strike not going to land, looking pretty obvious. And now Dove will just back away. He's a very safe laner.
Oh,
that's part of why he gives up a lot.
He's running.
CS. Here we go now.
He's going.
Yep, he's going to the bottom side, looking for Deft, and Deft still has dash and flash and cleanse. I mean, can't cleanse the Skarner, but still going to help him out if needed.
Oh, Pyosik.
Maybe Pyosik is going to be the target. They've been looking for a target here. As not going to commit onto him just yet. Big knockup with the Keeper's Verdict. As low on mana now is Clozer, and a roam from bottom lane is part of the reason why Liiv SANDBOX's duo will not commit to the fight.
Clozer also relatively low on mana there, so doesn't want to opt into anything more than that. And holding on to the Impale as well.
Teleport.
Yeah, going to come through here. And SANDBOX, they have been extremely diligent in picking themselves up early dragons here. This time around, there'll be the counterplay coming through from the side of DRX. And overall, it's looking even. And, it's an interesting question who that favors. Because Zeri has been so extremely dominant. And even if we have seen Nilah actually hit the later stage of the game, the payoff has felt fairly lackluster in every game that I've seen. Whereas with Prince Zeri, this is a known quantity. We know what we're getting. We have been treated to it before. Well, treated initially. We have been forced to endure it.
Yeah.
The later half of the split.
Generally pretty electric performances from Prince on the Zeri.
If this is playoffs, Valdes, I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, you said I had to save my good stuff for you know, the rebank playoffs. Here I am.
I have a ton of faith in you, Valdes, which is why I know you can do better.
Okay, I'll try my hardest. 200 gold to Pyosik. That is a free Rift Herald. As BeryL is the same level as his top laner there for a second. Very interesting. It's just been soaking a lot of XP somewhere, stealing from someone.
Prince about to finish his call. Gonna be a nice spike, but overall, DRX in this early game looking good. Found themselves the kill on the bot side of the map. And thus far, well, if SANDBOX comp, as mentioned, I think a lot more awkward. No Ornn to sound the alarm, no Vi to just start off fights. Instead, gonna be relying on Croco to do the target isolation. But let's not forget Clozer had a really good game in terms of skirmishing and setup for the rest of his team. And if we do get to an endgame scenario, I'd still be willing to bet that Prince is going to do unreasonable amounts of damage on this Ahri. But in theory, you know, side lane not looking too shabby. Kingen should have a good time there. Mid, so far, very even. But Azir, of course, quite the menace in the late game. Zeka has been performing well, so not looking too bad. But this was game 2 as well. And then once we actually started fighting is when it went downhill.
Yeah,
very
that's true.
quickly.
The one thing that is good for DRX is that Croco on the Skarner has not been able to find a single impale. I mean, just in general, it's why you pick the champion, and the fact that it hasn't gotten one. Maybe I cursed them, as now Deft is going to just stash away. It was BeryL, actually, that had to flash that one. So, actually totally fine for now. But here comes a trade in the top side. The needles will basically all land. Kingen burning down, and now he's not going to be able to get into this one as Croco eating a bunch of damage, but it's a Poppy and a Nautilus. So he really doesn't seem to care, but they're definitely locked into this one as Croco tries to get over the wall. And now we got a 2v2 on the bottom side. Prince here trying to kite it out. BeryL incredibly low as Prince now.
Keep going.
He's going to be running him down, and not much that Pyosik can do from this one, as he's just going to be a menace. How can he keep getting away with this as the Qs are finally coming in, and Deft is chasing a Lulu. It's not going to get anything for him, as even an Extendo Beam comes out, and Prince probably did like 4,000 damage here, 12 minutes into the game already, with no items.
And that's 2 kills for the Zeri. And we have not had our fair share of Zeri moments in recent times. Champion has been losing a lot. But if you get 2 kills in the early game, that equation changes quickly. As a Croco has his first real Croco moment, as I personally can say, having been a very happy watcher of this player for 2 years, when he flashes, impales, and dies within the first half second of it. What was also key there, what I actually think was really remarkable, was because of Dove playing so aggressively on top side, there wasn't actually an opportunity for Kingen to join that fight, as he was kind of getting bullied away. And then here, really nice CC chain. Overall, I think working out very well. And we do see Ahri is a little bit slow to display, but crucially, this actually turns into a 2v2. Which is won, unsurprisingly, because a lot of the burst has gone into the Skarner with a Zeri that can just kite it out, right? So as a result, there's nothing that can be done here. Either you all in and you lose, as that hook will also not have made a difference, as funny as it looks.
Yeah.
And then on the top side of the map, well, yeah, Croco died, which, again, didn't have to flash there at all. Completely unnecessary. At the very least, was able to get Clozer there and was able to draw out a reasonable amount of time, as we'll be getting a Rift Herald here, but reinforcements on the way here, which Dove doesn't often get.
Looks like this is... Kingen will be close enough. Okay, so he'll pick up 160. Not bad. Not bad at all. That was about to time out, so consider that he died and essentially just ran top immediately to get that down, so... Could have been a little bit more dire for the side of DRX and their Rift Herald value, but instead he's able to get a nice little charge off, as now Dove playing it very carefully in the top side. It's good for him that he's keeping up in CS, you know. This early on, though, somewhat to be expected.
And overall, great abilities here. Grandmasters might use, and Dove. So let's try and get some poke, but from that range, Kingen has no issue getting it out.
Not again, Dove! Not the bottom! Oh, he got it this time at least, but he's got a wild growth. But there are 4 members of DRX chasing him down as he's going to be pulled in, and that'll be the end of the Scorpion himself. As Zeka, the one to pick up that kill, pretty large, is now the first Dragon to go down at 15 minutes into the game.
Oh, there's Ignite here for Dove.
Oh, Dove. I feel like maybe he could have gone for that one, or at least forced the flash, but instead just going to Ignite and push him away. Kingen sticking around if he can get this counter strike. Could amount to something, but...
I wouldn't go for that one. And Kingen seems to be of the same opinion. Yeah, Croco just getting caught. They're very nice hooks from BeryL. Able to set it up. He had the one upsie on Prince, but at the very least is able to have some retribution moments, as it's a scuttle.
He's clearing the ward right there.
Yeah.
You see him.
He knows. Croco thought the movement speed of his W and the fact that he was on the Spire would be enough to turn. It's not, and I want to give credit to Zeka as well. Not for sniping away that kill, didn't have to do that, but for being very, very, very proactive on these roams. Even though the skirmishes haven't actually all worked out in DRX's favor, Zeka has been earlier on the roam in most of the plays that we've seen, and it's been a really big contributor as to why Liiv SANDBOX can't really hard commit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a really good point because I think especially in games 1 and 2, like this is Clozer's third game of Ahri, but he was just first there. He had a lot of support from his jungle and they were making plays together, but it's probably one of the things that they went back to the coach's booth and discussed. You know, Clozer, or Zeka rather, you got to be on the play, you got to be first there. Let's try to get ahead of Clozer. And it has been a nice little change-up in this one. Also, Dove having a lane. Nice little change-up for him.
Oh, yeah.
Must feel very different for him and for his team.
Also want to highlight that we actually see a good build here from Deft as Croco. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's looking for anyone as the stun comes in. Going to save that Impale for now. As Dove, now he's got a really nice lane for these needles to stack up. They're chasing down Pyosik. They're not going to kill anyone. They do zone him away. Kingen's like, he's in his own lane, just doing his own thing. And he will take out a turret by himself, meanwhile.
Little underwhelming from SANDBOX there. Croco flashing, doesn't get anything. Does have Hex Flash.
Well, they're going to see him. He's right here. He's going to find a free Nilah. I mean, they saw the Scorpion. They knew he was there.
That's the equivalent of you see a Scorpion on the floor, and you walk up to the Scorpion, and he stings you. You're like, why'd you do that, Scorpion? What do you expect?
Surely the Scorpion.
Surely he'll just let me touch him,
care.
right?
Yeah. Can I pet the Scorpion? No. Don't pet the Scorpion. It's like...
Oh, we don't need Atlas to tell us that. We don't need an Australian. No one should have to tell you that.
Pretty basic information.
As, that started off pretty lackluster for SANDBOX because they actually lose out hugely on that trade, right? They make a play, don't find any kills, and they lose first turbot for it. But then, just a free kill. Gonna be
for the Gwen.
Given up. Well, it is Dove. And we have the law of SANDBOX, you know, Dove being down 20 CS means everything is going well. There's also, if Prince is fed, SANDBOX wins. And he's currently, I think, 1.2k gold up.
Yeah.
So it's still tough for DRX, but the game looks so much better than the previous ones. I think that we do see SANDBOX really running into issues because this comp doesn't actually do the SANDBOX mid-game swings as well, right? They don't have an Ornhorn, don't have a Yuumi, don't have a Sivir, and without those tools, they're just kind of running at them. Now, as it turns out, if you just still let Croco Hex Flash over a wall, then you're good.
It's so funny. I mean, they must have been really focused in. Like, we make jokes, but I'm trying to think about, like, why was there no reaction?
Probably, yeah.
I would imagine that either... It's like one of two things. They think he doesn't have Hex Flash, which... Not sure about that, as unfortunately it looks like, okay, Apotheosis does come out here, and a really nice knockaway of both Croco and Dove. Pyosik finally getting value on that ultimate. Needles are being used, as they were used earlier on, trying to now get over the wall. That is some really nice value, but the soldiers of Zeka doing a good job of zoning them away. As Dove now, waiting for this one, still no Impale has been used. The Predator popped. But Clozer's not here, as he is going to TP back in, though, and now we've got a front line for the Zeri. The Impale finally comes out, as Pyosik is getting low. In they go now. It's a huge sweep! Zeka turns the fight immediately, just like that, able to sweep 3 of them in. And Kingen on the Jax is going to love this broken down play. As he's looking for Kael, he might be able to get him. Clozer can't do much this low. And finally, DRX. They make a showing in this series.
And that's probably the first fight that they've been able to win in this match, or in the series even, Valdes says. Going back to this, again, somewhat surprising. Deft not able to get away there from the Skarner, and this play is fine. This is a lot of confidence. One should say overconfidence here from SANDBOX, because Clozer gets knocked out of this fight very early on. So SANDBOX then say, okay, Clozer can back and he can TP in. We can keep looking for this. Now, there is hesitation here from DRX. I think if they just pull the trigger here, they literally just immediately win. Because like Clozer isn't actually there and isn't able to join.
Yeah.
And then this fight is looking very good. They get a lot of damage down, then get a little bit too far forward trying to kill Pyosik, and then Zeka scoops up the entire enemy backline. Really nice flash here from Kingen to make sure that he gets the strike. And DRX, that was good. Even though Kingen bought a Hullbringer, I want to get into that a little bit later, but this is not the way. This is not the play.
Yeah, they're taking a bunch of damage too as they're trying to hit the front line, but it is a Gwen as Clozer now is kind of caught here between a rock and a hard place. That's against Wild Growth as now Prince is going to be shoved into the back line, trying to get away. And look at the front line here. Croco just trying to zone for his team, but he cannot. Zeka is too strong in this game now. He's got 5 kills. This Croco trying to 1v1 the Nilah. And will they go back to Baron? Really trying to force this one.
I think they can. I think they should be able to. Deft. Yep, they sense it. X flashing over, but they don't have the... oh, wait, the health bars are really low. They'll see this now.
You're going to see it. Look at the amount of pings on that minimap as in goes
Baron.
Croco. He's trying to smite it, and he's too early. And Poppy, Pyosik is going to pick it up. This game is truly gone into a bit of a hurricane. Zeka is massive now, 10 stacks on his Dark Seal.
And this might be the game-breaking fight here, Valdes, because, again, SANDBOX, they fight. If it's a good idea, doesn't really matter. And it is, again, Zeka with a colossal flank. Deft really nicely done, setting up there as well, really working in the way that I think Nilah's intended to, as more of a setup carry. Finds the ultimate as a result. Of course, got taken very, very low. Zeka at a very close spotter, and the fact... oh my god, that was 144 health. Yeah. Yep. Very, very close. And now, Prince gonna go for a Lord Doms here. Is looking like, at least before he's gonna be able to finish his IE. So I don't think we're getting there. I think that the DRX gonna turn this into, at the very least, a 4-game series.
It's looking pretty likely. I mean, the Azir might end up just giving so much more than the Zeri can before the Zeri can, is now, again, going to be baited into this Impale and knock away from Pyosik. Everybody teleports into the fight. They heard a party was going on. At the end of the day, though, the only one who's partying is DRX. The Skarner finding 0 value in this game.
Yeah, as Prince, he won't die, but he doesn't have a good time at all. And yeah, overall, playing Skarner from behind, very bad experience. This overall draft already felt a little bit finicky for SANDBOX. And they try to play it like the way they've done before, and it's just not working. DRX is punishing them splendidly.
Well, let's see how this one is going to end, because we're getting another charge, this time into an inhibitor. And in this meta, you're fine to take those down ASAP. Tons of value here with this Baron power play. Already about 4,000 golds is the power play. And Prince still on 2 items. Clozer only 4 kill participations. The team only having 6 kills in total. Let's take another look.
As it really is, right? If you have a Sivir here, if you have a Yumi, this might work, but instead, going to be 2 teleports against 1, unsurprisingly. Multiple teleports win, as does the team that is substantially ahead. And the problem for Croco as well is that getting Deft now doesn't do anything, because Deft, even though he is extremely poor in terms of what he's been able to get, you know, not looking to be the strongest on the Rift at the moment. The key thing is to note that he does have a QSS. And Zeka also sitting on a bench, and he's Azir. So there aren't really a lot of good targets for Croco to find. Getting Poppy or BeryL doesn't find very good either. And DRX have really been able to make great use of the SANDBOX killer instinct, which looks great when they're ahead, but also explains why often, when they did lose, especially in round robin 1, they didn't lose. They got smashed. Like, they just keep bashing their face into their opponent, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, it does not quite work. The top side of the map, giving Dove the Gwen, you know, offering him a little bit more of an opportunity. Part of me feels like, you know, with how well it's been going with him picking up tanks and stuff, and the fact that he can play not only Ornn, I mean, he can play all sorts of things. but then they still put him on Gwen. It's almost in my mind like a trick for the next round. It's like, oh, by the way, like Dove isn't only a tank player. He can also play Gwen. They were stomping so hard in the first couple of games that for me it's like, well, why do you have to switch this up?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little bit of a mind game as they think, you know, they've already kind of swept the series, but it's a best of 5, guys. It's not a best of 3. And here in Game 3, they have certainly not looked up to the same level. Starting with the draft. But I also had questions about the Jax and the Nilah, so the draft itself was certainly finicky across the board.
Yeah, and I think it's partially draft. To me, this also feels like, for SANDBOX side, the Gwen, to me, is the main issue. Not just because Dove is currently 1 and 5 on Gwen, and it's a specific player, but a SANDBOX that doesn't have either Kael or Dove on any form of hard engage just doesn't work that well for how they play. It just feels like it's very off-theme for them. And as much as we like to joke about the game, you know, or about the team being the kings of R5, Aatrox, and Renekton, they've actually been able to have a lot of success with their playstyle. So diverging from it, I don't think is a great call. And then also, DRX is just playing the skirmishes way better, right? Like, they know SANDBOX is going to fight us. The amount of double TPs and people preemptively rotating, knowing that SANDBOX is going to try and do something, even though they probably shouldn't, has been done expertly by DRX. And might get them a much-needed loot side win to keep their dreams of keeping it going in these playoffs alive.
Yeah. And the game isn't over. I mean, there is still a fed Zeri, technically, and also a death cap for Clozer, which he rushed after his Everfrost. So, you know, once he gets that Void Staff online especially, there should be a nice amount of damage. We'll have to see if Prince can get to an IE. That's really going to be a critical breaking point. Notice that he picked up an Elixir here, sensing that the next fight will be probably incredibly important. Has to opt into buying that before saving everything for just an IE.
It's looking extremely rough here for SANDBOX. They are clearly gonna all in on this fight here on the Baron, not wanting to give that one over to DRX. And then if that doesn't work out, game will be over. Not gonna hit IE, not gonna get to that big classic Zeri boom boom damage as they go in, hit a control word once, and then Shuralia's out.
It's very scary.
Keeping it safe.
Yeah, and within Azir that's this fed, you can start Baron very extremely confidently. You can just start it up, you know, just 2 people. Yep. 1 tank, 1 Azir, totally fine. You can do it over the wall as well if you want. The mid lane's being pushed, so Liiv SANDBOX, you're gonna have to make a move. Let's see if they can do it. Trying to get vision in the pit, and they will get vision for now, but look at the damage already that's coming out of this Azir as BeryL is just going to potentially die. He's not going to die, though. Clozer going in for a little bit more. Heal used, and the Baron will be denied.
The Baron auto came very close. Looks like BeryL is building towards a Zhonya's, but with just a Amsterdam going to be a while before he actually hits that. So a lot of value gained there by SANDBOX, just hanging in there for a little bit longer. Did see Prince use his pot, so as a result with that Elixir of Wrath being used, a lot of gold into not a lot gained outside of just time. And looking at the spikes across the board, right, like Kingen is so monstrously far ahead. There's still double stopwatch available here on the side of DRX. And yeah, SANDBOX make sure that they didn't get the Baron, but they also didn't really do anything. That's by just a little bit of time. Maybe Clozer can hit a Void Staff before the next fight.
Yeah, that's going to be critical. The IE for Prince will be critical. Dove is, you know, as you mentioned, he has an Amp Dome. He's going for the Blighted Jewel here. And just looking to pump out as much damage as possible, trying to hit some spikes before it gets going.
He has not been spotted. Do note, Jackson the sideline. King STP level 16. Someone eventually needs to match him as Deft.
Oh.
Who finds who?
It's Deft finding Croco, who's level 12, as he's going to be Apotheosis, and now he's just being chased through the jungle. Should be the end of the Liiv SANDBOX jungler. As yes, he is very fast and Scorpion-like, but that is not going to help him very much. As now with no Croco, this means that a pretty easy and free Baron should go to DRX. Although they might try to fight it anyway.
It will be very Liiv SANDBOX of them Looks like it might be the
Okay, you get a polymorph and a ton of damage, but that is going to be the knockaway, and the depth charge does come out as well here. Now trying to catch Kingen, but it is a fed Jack. So, yep, pretty much a free Baron. A little bit of stumble along the way.
Yeah, and SANDBOX assume the idea from Croco was to get in that rush where Deft is right now and then come in from behind. But he just got spotted, so he dies.
And looks very silly.
It looks very funny, yeah. If it wasn't Croco and they trade 2 flashes, you might feel okay because they lose, but they lose bad. So it's bad. Scorpion actually getting stabbed on this time around. They're not planning him anymore. They're not on board as the side laning from Kingen actually has been very good in this Jax, sitting on a Hullbreaker himself as well.
They're still chasing. Okay.
Yeah, I don't feel like that is a very fruitful endeavor. The one thing that is somewhat scary, if you are a DRX fan here, this game should be a freebie from here on out, is that Prince is getting very close to an IE, and DRX haven't actually been able to crucially cripple the base. Teleport comes in, and they will be able to pick themselves up a soul point soon as Croco gonna try again. Not spotted here.
Yeah. And Skarner is one of those picks, kind of like Blitzcrank. You know, you get that one pick, let's see how it goes, or sometimes you just die. Yeah, again, gonna look pretty silly, but you can imagine. He's trying to go for the risky plays, trying to go for the risky flank, because there's the charm onto Kingen, but looks like he probably has enough tenacity to handle that. TP now coming in as the push will commence here from DRX. They still have Baron for a minute 15. That should be more than enough time to break 2 inhibitors here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb and say, don't think SANDBOX has the damage available to take down DRX here. DRX looking to extend this series, Valdes.
Well, looking pretty likely. DRX taking this very slowly, although BeryL is posturing aggressively, looking for that hook.
Croco's back.
They're still very much respecting the Zeri. But this might be the time to fight the Zeri before the IE is online.
Yeah.
But
they'll get Soul, but I think they could have, with the lead that they have, they could have really pushed here. Gonna pick themselves 3 Elder Soul. Sorry, powerful, of course.
Cloud Soul.
Cloud Soul, there you go. Elder Soul would be...
that's in League of Legends too. Yeah,
that's in the MMO.
Yeah, something like that. Elder is on the way in 6 minutes, of course. So we'll take another look at Croco and his fun.
Late game Skarner, Poppy, Zeka on Azir. There's just not a lot of fun to be had. I have seen Croco go 0-7 before, together with Summit. It was not a good time. And DRX, at least for this game, all that stands between them and a surefire win is a Zeri. So as long as they don't walk into Prince's extravaganza of W's and I mean, they have so much defensive itemization, right? Like, that's just Banshees, they have double Zhonya's, they have a GA, Deft also hit a 3-item power spike, has his QSS as well, like, it just doesn't seem possible.
Extendo Beam not even doing that much damage at this point in time, and Prince has hit his Infinity Edge. It's just not quite.
Triple inhib.
Yeah. Well, it is triple inhib as now looking for the play. The charm comes in, but that's on the Nautilus as the front line here is actually pretty good for the side of Liiv SANDBOX, but depth charge is good enough, and they knock away the Zeri! What if you have a Zeri in its bed, but it just doesn't exist? That is the case here as Prince, though, is trying to hold on alone as the flash comes in. He is kiting it out. They're not able to take him out just yet. Kingen with the flash on in with the counter-strike as he's going to zap down Pyosik. You gotta be kidding me, as Prince still trying to hold on to this one, but I don't think they have enough time nor the damage. Prince will be taken out by the extremely fed members of